The debate has been ignited again, and now we've got some big names involved. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Escaping the Echo Chamber. Fat Joe, Busta Rhymes are now in the middle of the drama about who created hip hop. If you have seen, I did a video not too long ago talking about Tariq Nasheed talking with academics, and that topic came up then because Tariq's been talking about it for some time, and he's been making sure to let people know that from his perspective, FBA, Foundational Black Americans, which he founded, are the individuals responsible for creating hip hop. So he's saying Black Americans are the ones that created hip hop, founded hip hop, the originators of hip hop. In his discussion with GJ Academics was saying, oh, well, Caribbean blacks had something to do with it as well. And he was like, no. He's like, don't try to take credit for what Black Americans did. They may have gotten involved later on, but it was Black Americans that founded it. Earlier this week, Busta Rhymes on stage says that hip hop was created by blacks and Puerto Ricans. That caught heat. That has culminated into today. Fat Joe was with Angie Martinez, and he's like, they're talking about how it was a 50-50 thing between blacks and Hispanics, blacks and Latinos in creating hip hop. Just saw some clips of him on Twitter talking about, oh, this is crazy. Latinos was right there. And I'm like, whoa. You see, what you just said right now is very different than what people are criticizing you from. Saying that Latinos became involved in hip hop is very different than saying they co-founded hip hop. Those are very different things. And let's be precise, because if we're going to talk about history, then we need to be precise with our language and understand what we're talking about. It's funny because you had other individuals who were there in the early days. One who was interviewed by DJ Vlad and said there was only a couple of Latinos that came around them. Saw a clip from one of his friends, I think it was Charlie Chase, and he says that as a Latino getting involved in hip hop, he was being alienated by other Latinos who were saying, what are you doing with that Jungle Bunny music? And that's key to realize, because the revisionist history doesn't do anybody any good. Pretending that that there wasn't certain hostility, once again, doesn't do anybody any good. And it definitely doesn't do us any good. It doesn't do us any good if history is rewritten and we are written out of it. That's habitually happened throughout the American history. But there was a tweet that really caught my attention about all of this. It's a tweet from Yvette Carnell. And Yvette Carnell says, while y'all in the 6th week of debating who created hip hop, this is happening. And she quote tweeted Joe Biden making changes to DACA and basically making it an executive order so that it can't be legally challenged. Which is an interesting point, because her point is that for all of the discussions and debates over who created hip hop, there's stuff actually happening. Like the way I see it, we still don't have reparations. We still don't have a path. We still have not outlined a definitive path to reparations. We still have substandard schools and education systems. We still have this humongous wealth gap that exists not by accident. We have over-policing and police brutality issues to deal with. Just earlier this week, Boosie Badass was stopped again by police. There's a lot of significant issues that we need to talk about and we need to be focused on. But like I said, I'm not saying the history is insignificant. I'm saying the present is more significant. And it's not like hip hop doesn't matter, because hip hop does matter. But more important than who created hip hop is who runs hip hop. And that should be the first question we're asking. Who runs hip hop today? Right now, who controls hip hop? Because if we controlled hip hop, we could crush a lot of this noise to begin with. If we control our own music, our own media, our own entertainment, our own art, then we can squash a lot of the nonsense and a lot of the games that are being played that try to erase us from history and try to diminish our accomplishments. We see what happened with rock and roll. We know that Elvis completely lifted his repertoire from black performers. We know this. But this is a habitual thing that happens in the United States of America to blackness. But like I said, the focus, if we're talking about hip hop, first and foremost, we have to be talking about who controls hip hop today. Talk about it. And if we have established, which we should be able to quickly establish, that we don't run hip hop, we need to do something about that. Now, I'm not saying ignore history. I'm not saying allow history to be rewritten. I'm saying we have to know the accurate history. So we should be knowing, okay, who are the founders and what was the purpose of their art? What was the significance of their art? What were the obstacles they faced? And then we have to know, what are the obstacles we face today in controlling our art? Because right now you have people that control our art who push the most negative and ridiculous depictions of us imaginable. And they push this all over the globe so that people who've never met Black Americans have this warped and twisted idea of what Black Americans are and what we represent. That is first and foremost if we're talking about hip hop. Like I said, the history is important as well, but the present and the future are things we can't ignore. As always, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, like, share, subscribe if you have not subscribed already. If you disagree, feel free to give me the thumbs down, state who you think is responsible for the origins of hip hop, and please include details so that we can look it up and verify. And if you like this video, you can click here to see a related video that shows some of the important lessons we can get from history. I'll see you next time.